人は遅延と血縁によってかたどられるもの。いずれも持たず、ただ己のみが己を規定する魂は、己を失えば、たやすく崩れる。
A lot of the times we tend to pressure the kids to grow up too fast, or that they have to be mature to prepare them for the world that we lived on, because obviously we want to prepare children for what's to come and for the adolescent stage. But this isn't a good thing. This doesn't project positive consequences, because we have to let children be children. This brings us to the topic of Frederica, the last empress of the Gaiad Empire, and the child who had to grow up too fast for what she actually is. Hello everyone, my name is Alex. I am a psychologist and welcome to the Psychanime YouTube channel. I am trying to make a bit of change in how I present my videos, so if you like this content, if you like how I presented this topic, please like, comment and subscribe to my channel, and ring the bell button so you have notifications of the videos I post. So the topic I want to talk about is about child maturity and how it's a good thing to want to have a child who can make their own decisions, but it's also not a good thing, because children have to be children. They have to play and make wrong decisions and study, have friends, play. They have to go to school and be annoying little brats, because I had to deal with children growing up, children either with babysitting or because I actually did an internship with a primary school, and children can be annoying, they can be adorable. I love children, don't get me wrong, but they tend to get on my nerves a little bit. And in this topic, Frederica is someone who is part of those rare children who had to grow up too fast. They had to be forced into an adult position at a very young age. Like I said, sometimes it's not a bad thing to prepare a child. In the case of Frederica, for example, she is a child ruler. She is the last empress of the Gaiad Empire, and she had to be ready to. What's the problem? The problem is when we have to get into consideration that Frederica is the last empress. The empire fell when the war started. It's been 10 years of her life. She had to grow up in isolation with only like her parents and a couple knights and her trusted knight, Kyria. She never had friends. The only thing that she grew up with is the material to prepare for ruling. And then the empire fell. She was very young when she had to witness the death of everyone around her, including the person that she thought as her older brother. And of course, this caused a lot of trauma, and she had to force herself into a position that no child has to be in, that is maturing too fast. Aside from the education as the empire's heir, she forced herself to continue acting mature, acting like an adult, acting and speaking about topics that would be way too complicated for a child her age. She is only 10 years old. In Erickson's cognitive developmental theory, Frederica, who is 10 years old at the beginning of when she is introduced, she has to be in the industry versus inferiority stage, in which children often compare themselves to their peers and gain a sense of accomplishment for their goals. And while yes, this is something that Frederica tends to present, as she is also kind of childish and likes to boast about her accomplishments and her intellect. She actually steps up in the developmental stages all by herself, forcing herself into the next stage, which is identity versus role confusion. That is the adolescent stage, in which teenagers tend to try to find their own identity separate from their parents and try to find who they are. We see this with Frederica's uh, talk with Shin during the morpho mission, because Frederica is trying to find who she is, what is her purpose in life, what she actually is, aside from being the child of an empire that already fell, and what she will do when the objective of laying Kyria to rest actually is completed. But the difference between her and Shin is that even though they are similar, they have a difference in that Frederica actually wants to find that purpose in life. She doesn't want to basically go into a suicidal spiral like Shin was doing during the second core. And she wants to live, she wants to experience this life and continue being useful, because without her trying to make herself useful, she loses her purpose. And yeah, it's very noble and all, but she is like, she shouldn't do this. She's a child who needs to like play and be able to experience childhood. But the different from the RE6 who were robbed of their freedom, she forces herself to escape this freedom, because in her mind, like I said, she wants to be useful. She needs to be useful in order to find who she is and her value. Like as a psychologist, I would want to like take Frederica and tell her that it's not her responsibility to be mature or talk like an adult, or like throw herself into a war all by herself, taking this decision, even though it's her decision to go into the battlefield. At the very least, try to find things that she actually likes, and try to find things that makes her want to be a kid. And this is, so she sometimes displays this because even though children who are said to be mature, or when adults say to children, hey, you are very mature for your age, which is FYI, never tell a child you are very mature for your age, because this actually creates a lot of pressure and anxiety into a child and makes them double down into these tendencies and want to impress their parents or their caretakers into acting more and more like adults instead of enjoying their youth. And Frederica is a prime example of this. She wants to be in mature conversations and practice with the other 86 during the strike package. But the thing is, she's also very childish, and this comes out in very small instances, like when they are on break. She uses that childlike wonder and her gestures in order to manipulate uh, her older brothers and sisters into buying buying her things and doing things for her, like cooking. She throws tantrums and gets very upset when she thinks she is throwing his life away, which is true. And she can really be kind of annoying in the sense that she oftentimes cosplays as a tickle when she gets flustered, which can be annoying because, again, children can be very annoying when they start asking questions again and again and again. They're very curious, which Frederica also displays a lot. Uh, and like I said it before, she likes to gloat a lot, which shows her childish nature. She takes a lot of pride in knowing a lot of things and complicated language and stuff. This also brings me to like her lexicon is very advanced, which comes from the thing of her growing up too fast. She has to read a lot and think a lot about things, and she oftentimes brings out these very philosophical things to mainly the 86 to make them think about their future. Like the quote I put in the beginning about the three things that uh, makes up men. And one last thing before I wrap up this video, I want to talk about how hair psychometry like ties to this kind of personality. I already talked about mainly two characters that have psychometry, this one being Shin and also Vika, who have their own kind of psychic powers. Frederica is another one of them. She has the ability to see into the past and the present of anyone that she meets. She has to get close to the person and ask their name in order to see into their memories. Though, because she's half blooded, Pirope, she has the memories and the present that she sees is without sound and kind of get fragmented. But it's very useful for extracting information, even though it's limited. And this ties into a lot of her personality because not only is tied to her psyche, but she is someone who lives a lot in the present and the past. She is a very curious child who wants to know everything about that person, even though she can't see into the future like another Esper we meet later on in the light novels. She likes snooping into people and wanting to know them better. She wants to know them better. She tells Shin and Eugene that it's better to know a person than not knowing them at all, and that it's her responsibility, her decision to do this, that she wants to keep those memories of that people, of knowing that people inside and outside, and keep them in her mind. And she also uses her ability to see into the present, even though she can't hear what's actually happening, to make sure that they are okay, to keep a watchful eye, a third eye into a situation. And I love how this is used in the anime. She has a moniker that's the old scene witch, because she can monitor everything that happens in the battlefield from the perspective of the person she chooses to see the future through. and that's Frederica Rosenfort. She's not my favorite character. I already talked about my favorite characters in the past few weeks. She kind of is dear to my heart. Like I said, I really love children, and this little girl is, I just want to hug her and put her in a warm bed and tell her it's going to be okay, and that she doesn't have to be in all of this pressure to be something that she isn't. Like, she is a child who had to grow up way too fast and at a very young age, and had to see a lot of things that no child has to be in that position. So yeah, I want to wrap this video. Like I said at the beginning, if you like this kind of new format, and if you like this video you want more content, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in another one. Bye bye.